Hello, '07 everyone. Welcome back to the Quantum Dispatch. I'm OneDark and with us today we've got a very special guest, Mr. GFA Plays. GFA, tell us a bit about yourself.
Hello there. My name is GFA Plays. I am a content creator over on YouTube. I make Star Citizen content, mainly cinematic stuff, but also sometimes I like to just have a rant or live streams, and we just sort of talk about whatever we fancy and play the game. And yeah, it's a very inclusive place. Anyone that joins the chat is welcome to come and play. So it's a very much so. Let's get together and just play the game and enjoy it. And yeah, I've done some work with OneDark Enigma with the British Army team, and it's been a wonderful last year. I really got into making Star Citizen content towards the tail end of not last year but the year before in November. So just when what would have just been coming out around then? I think it was when the Vultures were just making their way into the game, is sort of when I started playing, but I backed it back in 2014. So I bought a ship, but straight away from when the Kickstarter sort of booted up and we could actually get ourselves some ships. And yeah, it's been a long journey.
So what were you doing back then when you backed?
God, yeah, I was just a normal gamer, and I've always really loved space and space movies, space games. I mean, if anyone's seen Firefly, shout out, best TV show ever made.
Yes.
And I love it. I've made so many references in my content to that show.
Jane.
And yeah, honestly, I love it. This is a complete sidebar, but I really hope that CIG implements some kind of like Janestown, like Jane Cobb's like Janestown little little shack somewhere with a statue. I'd be in my element. But yeah, I've always loved space and in the whole genre, and I leaned into that with regards to gaming as well. And Star Citizen came around, and I was like, this is going to be the best game ever made. And I still truly believe that 12 years on. As long as it's going to take to get done, I don't think this game will ever be, in my lifetime, will ever be topped.
No, I think it's a fair assessment to make. We're glad to have you with us. We really enjoy watching your content. And I know you don't live stream as much now, but that was great when you did. Always liked jumping in, checking you out. And then we have Easone and CJ, who is currently sporting the latest in stealth technology. Unfortunately, CJ is a family man, and he's gone to go and deal with his mini-me. So, what are we talking about tonight? We're talking about Multicrew. What experiences have you had? What experiences do you want? And what do you feel that the game can give you? So, what do we have at the moment? We've got the Hammerhead. That's been used recently, hasn't it? And I know you were testing out last night in Arena Commander modes under Master mode. How did you
Hammerhead
get
and 890. Just going to throw that one out
there.
there.
Oh.
I'm not a fan of it myself, but that seems to be sort of like the people's aircraft carrier at this point in time.
Yeah, that's quite fair. I've used it, haven't we? We took, was it 7 or 8 Furies out on it? That was rather entertaining that night. And then we obviously got the Mole and the Reclaimer. Have you been showing the Mole much love recently?
Is it open question?
Yeah, it's all open.
No, not at all. Sorry, I wasn't sure if this was a continuation of the previous question.
Yeah.
I honestly like mining in general. Like I don't know. I haven't really done much of that, especially with I've been mostly occupied by the Reclaimer and salvaging lately. That has been my sort of go-to.
Mining, I love mining. I think it's I'll be honest, cargo running is sort of my go-to guilty pleasure in Star Citizen, because if I'm not recording a video, I can pop up like a movie, like I'll stick Netflix on and I'll just do cargo running, and it's like a guilty pleasure. It's just so relaxed until someone pulls you out of like your quantum, and then you're in for a bit of a tricky ride. But yeah, I love cargo running, and mining is in that same avenue for me. I really enjoy going and sort of and mining and just sort of switching off my brain. But I do find that the mole, because I've never used the Multicrew mole mining facilities. I've used a mole solo, but I've always wanted to get a group of people similar to what we've done on Reclaimers and go and just do like a whole mining evening, or like a few moles.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, we should do it.
Yeah.
I'm down.
It's a date.
Oh yeah, definitely down for some Multicrew.
I think, but you know,
Some Multicrew.
we've
Multicrew.
we've
That's why I'm here.
definitely given some of like the larger ships. So like we've said, the 890, the Hammerhead, the Mole. There's like I think there's also, you know, multi-crew is also, it can be a more personal event as well. Like I'm going to drop the Hurricane in there because I just love the Hurricane, and especially with like the two-seater Hornet, um, sort of like the Heartseeker or the, oh look,
He
stealth technology
returns.
went down. He's back.
Welcome
Yeah, but don't forget
back.
about those two-seaters. That's what I'm trying to say. Like they're you know a lot. It's multi-crew still, but it's a lot more fast-paced, and I think there's definitely some interesting stuff coming that way as well.
So we've got a couple of first-time chatters that have just popped up. Someone's just gone
Should we give them an 07?
GFA. I don't know if it's someone you
Yeah.
know who's saying hello, but
What's up?
and then we've
Hey,
got
Clumsy.
Mavitivo. What's one of your
Mav.
favorite Star Citizen moments?
Ooh.
Really?
I personally liked watching you get blown up on the 890 recently.
Do you know what? That was such a in-depth moment, and when, man, when we got blown up, I was sat there for ages. I was like, that was such a good experience, and then it just went down. But I was like, if this is grief in it, I'm not giving them the juice. So I sat
That's
here
it,
and
right?
just died inside. But no, to
You
be
reacted
fair,
very well in that moment.
Yeah.
I think I would have been a lot less reserved in that moment when you blew up. But you were like, oh well. I was like, that would not be how I would have reacted in that moment.
I got to say, when I saw the trailer for River Grit's video, I died inside. I was like, oh no, just how much of myself am I going to see on someone else's video now? And you know what they'll do? They'll like slow it down, or they'll replay it over and over. Oh, well, that's a shame. Oh, well, that's a shame. I was just like, oh, you know, I've come from that 4chan culture. I know how ferocious it can be, and I did not want that to be aimed over to myself. So, recently, yeah, I'd say that's probably one of my favourite Star Citizen moments, just because it opened my eyes to a whole new way to experience the game. And that was with the experience being essentially a travel company. Unfortunately, I only got to see the tops of some buildings in Area 18, but you know, I'd be more than happy to go again and experience more this time. But yeah, what about you, Eason?
Well, yeah, I think I'm going to try and. There's loads of really good moments that I can think of, and I'm going to try and tie this more into specifically multi-crew to keep it in the vibe of what we're discussing here tonight. One of my favorite multi-crew moments was when Xenothreat dropped, and we managed, a group of us managed to get a Hammerhead together with a few light fighters, and like going up against a fleet for the first time in a Hammerhead with light fighters in support, and like, you know, you just, I think we were flying quite close to the Idris, and it managed to turn around, flick, and fire its main railgun, and I was just sat in the gunner seat on the port side, and I just saw this railgun go about 5 meters straight in front of me, and I was just like, yeah, that was a close one, and it was just, we managed to stick it for the whole event, no collisions, and it was like no other kind of gaming experience that I had seen at that point. It felt almost like The Expanse, where you see those combat sketches in The Expanse, which is one of my favorite science fiction shows. So, yeah,
Love The Expanse.
Was-
I feel like with Star Citizen moments, it's very much like a homage to that moment. Have you seen the movie Fury?
yeah,
Yes.
When they have that really
love
epic
this
sort
job.
of fight. Yeah, best job I ever had.
Best job I
That's-
ever had.
Every time something really cool happens in Star Citizen, I feel like I need to look around my cockpit to all my homies like, best game I've ever played. It's just like there's those moments.
You get those moments, but then like FOIP and VoIP like mess up. So like I mean, when they still had it in, and I think it is still there, but no one really uses it. But I remember like people turning around and like their webcams captured their expression, so you get someone turn their head and they're just like this. And it's just like, oh, that just the wrong expression, but the right time, and it's
Yeah.
perfect.
And then we forgot about the Arastra. I tell you what, before we go to that, CJ, tell us about your favourite Star Citizen moment recently. I feel like the guy from Hot Fuzz. Tell me about your favourite Sunday.
I'll take it from here.
Well,
What in the background?
firstly, I'm going to say apologise for being late, and
You
hello
weren't late.
everyone in chat.
You were on
And
time.
I was fashionably. So I think my favourite moment recently was, to be fair, was probably also watching OneDark get talked in an 890. I think that's got
So harsh, man. That's so harsh.
We're going to
in
see
all
this.
seriousness, it was, I think, one of the most recent ones that I've actually really enjoyed is just flying around in dropships and stuff like the Prowler
Oh god, yeah.
and just flying around Daymar.
Valkyrie.
And
But
the Valkyrie, trying to do J-hook landings and stuff like that. The Prowler, the Valkyrie, anything. Just trying to fly around, do little J-hooks, land, just witness the scenery. Crank up your settings to the max for about 30 seconds before your PC craps itself. But yeah, I think that's just how picturesque the game is. That's what I enjoy.
I think when you mentioned the Valkyrie there, like when we did that drop on SBK and we were chucking so many people out the back, I had this flashback from Band of Brothers where they're going into D-Day and the green light appears, like green light, go, 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 and just like you're trying to run through, but there was a bit of a glitch. I think the Valkyrie was slowing down, so people were like walking out and trying to jump, and a missile hit the Valkyrie and just took about 5 people out, and 6 people managed to get onto the SBK, and it felt amazing. So yeah. Nice one.
Yeah, Valkyrie gameplay is something I'm very much enjoying recently.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, when the distribution centers come and the heist missions, and you've got you're opening the side doors, you've got your side guns, you're just spraying down the pads. You're getting people that jumping down, going and doing the heist, and then coming back with their little grab forklift, like something Captain Jack Sparrow running down the beach, like get the ship going. I can't wait for that entire gameplay loop.
How much fidelity do you think they're going to have in this game where you actually need a qualification to run that little forklift? Like something in the game, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I gotta throw a question to you guys. Like, out of all the multi-crew ships that you own or have used recently, have you got a specific one that you would consider to be your daily runner if you're flying with another person?
How many people? Are we just saying max crew or one other person?
It could be a personal event, like you could be
Okay.
bringing a mate into the game, trying to get them into Star Citizen, or it could be with your org. You have like 15 people. You need a bigger ship.
I think the Carrick lives somewhere very close to my heart. Saying that, I have got a CCU chain to an Odyssey, and I'm very excited for the Odyssey. And I feel like I might be one of the only people in the world that's excited for the Odyssey. But something about that ship, man, that just, yeah, really excited for that. So, but I would have to say right now the Carrick.
We got off to a good start. I don't want to ruin it, but I think the Odyssey looks like the Michelin Man. I'm just going to throw that out there.
And no one likes it, dude. And
Things
I
got
love
curves.
Even chat disagrees.
It has.
What? Oh no, CJ.
I'm gonna be a counter, to be honest. I haven't got any ships that I enjoy playing multi-role. Multi-crew, sorry.
Even 2-seater?
Even 2-seaters. I mean, I've played with one of my new friends in the Vanguard series, doing bunkers and stuff.
That
But
counts.
that's about it. I think when it comes to multi-crew, I'm a solo dolo kind of guy. You know me, I'm flying around in my Corsair, ballistic Corsair, just
Yeah.
killing everyone else. So I ain't got time for having someone to drag me back in my in the turret gunner.
What, with an SRV? Because you're in a
Yeah.
Corsair and it's broken down.
Yeah.
Again.
No, it never breaks down. It coughs and splutters, barely
Never
survives, but no, Drake never dies.
Very nice. What about you, OneDark? And what's your kind of like?
Do you know what? I've been sat here thinking, I was like, I don't know, but like, I think it's a good question. It's like, if you were showing a friend for the first time, like, what would you go and do? I was taken on bunker missions. And I think that's akin to what I would do as well. So I'd probably just say sit in the back of like I don't know, an Avenger Titan, for instance, and we're gonna go to bunkers, just like small, boom, jump out, and take them in. I guess that FPS experience is easy to transpose from other games to this, and just once they get in, and then the drugs start going, don't they? And then it's like before you know it, you're on the pledge store, no money.
But would you count Avenger Titan as a multi-crew ship?
No. Well,
It's the sequel.
lay in that bed. We're going places. And as I said, I was like, they're gonna have no view. They're not gonna have anything. I guess like C8 would be good. Just jump in the back of that. They can see everything.
Yeah.
They'll experience falling over. There's 2 jump seats, depending on which variant you're looking at. But yeah.
I think
Probably the Cutlass Black is probably the closest like entry level 2-seater explorer multi-role multi-crew kind of ship.
what
I spent a lot of time in the Cutlass Black with friends, and we
Do you own
hoarded a
any
lot of
ship
bodies.
that's good? That's not a Drake.
So you should see my fleet, Sunshine.
It's
I
all
don't
Drakes.
want to.
15 caterpillars.
No.
You can
I've
hide
got
your
one of
fleet.
each. Me and OneDark both have a LTI mule, the pride of the fleet. But no, I've got a whole D as well, so I've got other
Oh,
brands.
thank God. Thank God.
Yeah,
Have you got a Herald?
Yes, of course I got a Herald.
We spoke about this last night, didn't we? Your Herald
Yes.
antics.
Yeah,
I've
so
never
I
seen
have.
someone so excited with a Herald. Your Herald is my Odyssey right now. I'll just say that.
Yeah, the Herald is one of my best moments ever with the Herald was during the Platinum Ticket event. I probably shouldn't voice this one publicly, but I didn't go for the
Just
public
did.
ticket. I just made sure no one else got the ticket, and whether that meant me flying my space dildo at maximum speed at the marker, that's what I did.
Wait, your space what?
I'm not going to say it twice.
Yeah,
My
okay.
space
Phallus.
cucumber.
Thing.
Hive
The space
mind.
cucumber.
The
Yes.
space cucumber.
Well,
Jesus.
Drake is my bae.
I mean, I'm gonna shill for Anvil here because when I've got a few friends that don't. I mean, I've been back in Star Citizen since like 2013, and like I'm still trying to get some of my friends to come in and play. Most of them have joined. Whenever I'm bringing someone in and they're not sure how to fly, I will bring out the Heartseeker. The Hornet Heartseeker I think it's great because you put your friend in the co-pilot seat, you fly, you take them to a moon, you switch around, and then I'm watching their stream and I'm just sort of telling them what they, what controls do what, and they're getting a feel for it on a moon, and it's a much more relaxed way of bringing people into the game, and you get that kind of like real world feeling of like being in a glider and going, you have control, go for it. So I'm really looking forward to Multicrew being able to switch controls to people, and I think that'd be great for people that are entering the game for the first time as well.
Out of interest, why did you
Hornet
choose a
Heartseeker.
glider to compare that to?
I don't know. Well, I mean, I live near a gliding school, and
Right, okay.
I've never actually flown any kind of planes myself, but I know that you can get those 2-seaters and they can switch controls over, so you can decide who wants to pilot at that time, which you can't do in game yet. But that would be cool because they did mention that in Multicrew, like the captain will be able to assign different controls to whoever's at what. So you could go, all right, OneDark, you're going to be helmsman. GFA plays, you're going to be, engineer. CJ Radley, you're going to go in the brig because you like Drake. No, I'm kidding. You're going to be on like communications, and you just be able to do that from that captain's chair. And I love the idea of that because that gives the captain like an actual role where he can manage the party and also manage what people are doing at the same time.
So we've got Pretender Saw in the chat also claiming to have flown a glider. Fun fact, in the previous life, I also flew a glider. I went solo in one at 17, so I was just interested to see what your experience had been, see if you'd actually been in one. And they are a lot of fun to fly. Hell of a lot of fun. Yeah.
Awesome.
And he was an air cadet, and so was I. There you go. Boom. It's a small world after all.
Nice
Did we
one.
become best friends?
Yup.
Oh, the closest I ever did was skydiving. So technically, I flew under a wing, but that's about
You
it.
need a plane. You jumped out of a perfectly good plane. That does
It
not
wasn't
count.
perfectly good. It was a military-owned plane. It was not perfectly good.
Okay, it had a hole in the side, but you still
Yeah.
stay in the plane.
It was
No,
a
I
Drake.
hedged my bets. Yeah, no. It was Origin. It was all shine, no function.
Are we going to get parachutes in game, do you think? I mean, eject at the moment is like, okay, good luck.
I mean, that wouldn't work
Mm.
over all the different
No.
biomes and like gravity wells that you got on for whatever planet. Like, I think it'll most likely, if they were to do something like that, it'll be thruster based. There'll be like a pack that you could wear or something like that.
It'll be a souped-up EVA suit, kind
or
of style.
To be
I
fair, I
mean,
do
Nice.
like that. That's cool.
I don't want to shell out of, I don't want to name any other games here, but I'm gonna like. There's a game that most of the PlayStation and PC community have been very much enjoying right now, where you kind of get thrown out of a ship in a very small tin can, and they
Mhm.
have pretty much. I think they've referenced pretty much every science fiction show to date in this one game. So I would be. I know so many people that I talk to in Star Citizen. They go like, you know what? Wouldn't it be nice if we had a ship that just had drop pods? I'm just like, so many people talking about it that they're going to talk it into existence.
I think it would be amazing. Drop pods would be incredible, and I'd love to see it. However, my fear would be persistent entity streaming if the pods are just left all over the place. Like, imagine Daymar being just scattered with pieces of metal from these pods and stuff. They would have to figure something out to sort of have a cleanup every now and then, or the pods would have to despawn after a little while.
Yeah.
It would be really cool. I think with the database issues that we know that they've had in the past, adding more things like that are going to sort of persist. I don't know. It would be awesome.
Just create the pods out of really expensive material and just let the vulture owners fly over and pick them up.
Yeah.
It's free salvage.
Mhm.
Military hardware does sell
He's
well.
Drake.
Yeah, it's got to be a vulture. If you're flying a reclaimer down in Atmos somewhere, then
No, the drop pod ship for Drake would be like, I don't know, it would be like the Kraken, and it would just have like cargo containers filled with people like inside,
Yeah.
and they'll just be chucking them off into atmosphere and just letting these people fall with this cargo crate. No thrusters or anything. They'll just hit the ground.
It'll be the Kraken with like 20 Drake Heralds mounted on the underside of it, and just
No.
pull the pin, and that rocket ship's going to hit the ground.
It's
I
true.
mean, Drake drop pods, they might not look pretty, but they're going to get the job done.
My stream quality is bad. I would love to see what chat is saying right now. Are they saying that we're making serious poor life decisions? Because
Yes.
yeah,
Basically, they're all complaining
probably
about
are.
you.
Well,
Can't believe you get Easone
quite
on
used to
this
that.
podcast. Think about he's
Yeah.
packing peanuts. Gosh knows what that means. But
Wait, peanuts? I didn't know we get snacks here. Oh
Very
wow,
good.
this is
Oh, why'd you
great.
have to mention food?
So yeah, to bring us back onto point a little bit. So Multicrew.
Multicrew.
So Multicrew. Multipass.
Multipass.
So yeah,
Arastra. You were talking about the Arastra.
yeah, we were going to move on
to
to Arastra, wasn't it? And obviously conceptive gameplay. Obviously, it's a mining ship, but I mean, it does look a lot of fun, doesn't it?
I don't know. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. See, I was one of the lucky ones that shilled out and got an Orion. Like, mining isn't there just yet, but the idea of plowing through an asteroid field with your mates, opening up some beers, and just enjoying making a lot of money. The Orion is where it's at for me personally, and you will get the Arastra as a loner if if we know anything about the loner matrix. The one thing that put me off the Arastra was that they were mentioning that you can land on a planet, you can deploy ground vehicles and stuff like that. It's like, well, that's all very well and good, but like if I'm mining, I'll probably want to get with a ship that size. I'll want to be mining an asteroid, something big. I wouldn't want to be taking it into atmosphere because you'll just run through your fuel. And you'd have to deploy guys in rocks. You'd have to come back for them and pick them up. And there's all kinds of things like pirates could come, they could raid you. You'd have to leave your mates behind. If you've got everyone all on board, you can just jump and there's no problem. So yeah, it looks beautiful. I'm not gonna lie, and I was thinking about getting it. It's a hard one for me.
But how are you going to outrun pirates in your Orion?
Well, it's a large ship. It's gonna have a large radar. I mean, you not. It depends what type of ship it is, but it's like early warning. If you pick up pirates, depends. If they're good pirates, you won't be able to outrun them
Good
because they'll
pirates? Oh, good in skilled. Okay, never mind.
skill.
Took
Yeah,
me back a sec there.
if they're intelligent pirates,
Ah,
you
okay,
won't
yeah.
stand a chance. If they're not, you'll pick them up early with the radar of that cap. Like, I mean, it is capital size, the Orion, and then you'll be able to like get your quantum, like drive, like spooling, and get out there.
Off the back of that, something I did want to discuss, and it is still technically to do with multi-crew, but more to do with the shields of the ships. I've seen people talk about, obviously, with master modes on the way, and I think it was in Avenger 1 video where he discussed sort of the master mode's feedback. And he was mentioning about the big ships with the large shields. It should be really difficult for a small. Basically, the damage per second output shouldn't be able to take down a shield that has a higher regeneration rate than the damage per second. So, for example, if it's a big Orion, if the pirate's flying something like a Cutlass, let's say, and it doesn't have the output of damage to even take the shields down, should that Cutlass be basically completely useless against the Orion and have to go and get more Cutlasses and more pirates to help them? Or should that one Cutlass be able to take out that one Orion? Because, back to your point about how do you outrun pirates? Well,
That's
unless
a
you have a
really good
group
point.
of them, might not be an issue.
There's a good point, and I want to add on to that because the Orion is designed to go into an asteroid field. Light fighters and freighters aren't necessarily designed to do that. So if this capital ship has those shields, it's protected from light fighters. If it's going through the asteroid field, it's going to be knocking things about. When asteroid tech comes in and the asteroids start breaking apart and floating off and becoming, obstacles, that's going to make it harder for things attacking the Orion. So, maybe the Orion going through an asteroid field, creating so much destruction, will actually benefit it in some way because it's like icebreakers. It's specifically designed to go in that sort of like perilous place. Um, it's really interesting, and I look forward to seeing how these big ships work against small fleets.
Definitely.
I agree with something you just said there, like GFA. You shouldn't be able to out DPS a shield's regeneration ability. Even now, I don't think so. If you have a capital size shield with an regeneration rate of say like 1,000 HPs per second, if your ship doesn't output that DPS, at the minute it's what 5 second regen after your shields take damage before they regenerate. I think it should be instantaneous. So it would avoid you being ganked by smaller groups of pirates until you get to the realms of, well, capital versus capital sort of fights.
Yeah, absolutely. It was one of the reasons Master Modes is obviously here to stop jousting and to stop the light fighters being able to dance around something like a hammerhead and just kill it over time, because you just can't hit this light fighter because they stay outside of the velocity of um the shots being fired back from the turrets.
Yeah.
So that's obviously an issue at the moment in the game, and having that system, they wouldn't be able to do that unless they had a group of 5 or 6 light fighters. In which case, fair play. They're probably going to get killed anyway with that many people up against you. But yeah, that just on the back of the point you made about the Orion outrunning pirates, it might not be an issue if it's got big capital size shields.
Yep.
Maybe you won't need to outrun them. Maybe you'll be able to tank, unless it's a big group of pirates, at which point it doesn't really matter what you're in. I think you're going to get quantum snared and killed, or at least boarded.
And we don't know what breaching charges will do. Like light fighters might not be able to get through, but if you get like a small team of guys through up to an airlock, they might be able to blow the airlock open and get on anyway. They might be able to go through the shield. So there's weird stuff there that we haven't even tested yet, and yeah, it's gonna be mad when the Orion's in, because I think that's where mining is gonna really start coming into a world of its own. It's already one of the most fully fleshed out professions, but we've got some big ships coming. the one big multi-crew ship that I do want to make sure we talk about today is the Endeavour, because I have that. I've been waiting for that ship for so long. I've got the master pack. Like, I'm so ready for that ship, man. Like, anyone in chat, if you want to know more about the Endeavour, please holler right now. That'd be great.
I'm going to snake a point though that GFA said, and one that will make OneDark very happy as well. You mentioned one buzzword: boarding.
Mm.
A good multi-role ship that's multi-crew ship, sorry, that's coming up. The
Legionnaire.
Legionnaire. With its hacking gameplay, its co-pilot controlled hacking gameplay,
Oh,
is a prime
Yeah.
example of a multi-crew ship, because you're
Yes.
going to have 8 to 10 to 12 people ready to deploy as boarding forces, but then you're going to have a turret gunner, a pilot, and a co-pilot, like a
say
hacker.
the real reason why you like it and why I like it as well.
Well, it looks like the
Pelican from Halo.
Pelican.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
thought you were going to go somewhere else with that. It's
Get your
front
head up with that
attachment, the
one.
way it comes out. It's like,
Yeah, it's like a little mosquito.
You are a sick man.
But
no, it's
I
like a, what's it, the alien thing?
You're one
The
sick
face
puppy.
hugger.
I think
Yes.
that's going to be one of the soon to come out most technical sort of like multi-crew ships.
Is it on its
Actual
way soon?
multi-crew.
I feel that
It's
it
coming
is,
this
you
year.
know.
It's coming this year.
Is it? What, the
So
Legionnaire?
on the
They put it
Legion,
in the Citizen.com picture.
yeah,
the
you know
upcoming
that sort
ships.
of like orange sort of like background, and they had the silhouettes of all those ships
Yes.
that were coming. Yeah, the Legionnaire was in that. So
TM.
Okay.
Soon,
as
TM.
well as the Polaris, which I can't believe we haven't mentioned that ship like about that. Polaris and Perseus, RSI's big boys coming onto the scene.
Well, we agreed to keep this under an hour, and you're jumping off in just over 10. So, yeah, we
I know.
had to cull some stuff. I feel like we're just getting into it now.
There's so many multi-crew ships. Can we ask chat what is a ship that they want us to hear us talk about?
Go on.
Yeah,
Go on,
what
chat.
multi-crew
Hit me up,
ship?
chat. First one in. First one to hit the buzzer.
Unless it's Drake.
Yeah, then we're not talking about Drake.
Yeah,
If you mention Drake, you get a follow.
by
I'm
one
gonna
guy.
Yeah, I'll
Stalk. He
I'll
will
sell
stalk you.
Yes. There
The
we go.
Kraken.
My kitten has got a follow. Well done.
Yes. And what a guy as well. Right, the Kraken. I have one.
The Kraken.
The Kraken. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, because I want to be that hub and just have people come in, refuel, take off, go off on the missions. I see myself as more of a support role than in the fighter seat.
I don't know why, but the Kraken reminds me of the oil tanker from Waterworld. Just in space.
Yeah.
You got that poor guy that's been stuck in the oil well, just like keeping that ship going for ages, and when he gets destroyed by like an explosive going down there, he's like, "Oh, thank God." That's gonna be some poor engineer on that. Like,
That'd be OneDark in Pyro, refueling everyone.
it's like most of your crew are going to be trapped underneath, because this is how I imagine a Drake ship, and they're just going to chuck like a fun-sized Snickers down in a dark hole where your crew's working, and like the strongest will manage to get like the chocolate bar, and the weak won't make it through. It's going to be bad.
Yeah, the weak shouldn't survive on a Kraken.
Oh my God.
So the reason why the Kraken is going to be so strong, and it is multi-crew, because it's going to maintain many different crews on it from different ships. But if you look at the way jump gates are going to work, your light fighters aren't going to be able to travel through small jump gates, through medium jump gates and large jump gates. So obviously, if it's only got the small jump drive, you're not going to be able to go through the medium and large jump drive gates. So you're going to need something to carry it. So you're either going to need a pocket carrier, which is something like a Caterpillar. Hyperion's going to hate me for this. Or
Pocket carrier.
a pocket carrier.
Pocket carrier.
Or
Liberator, please.
Odyssey.
The
Someone say
Liberator is a
Odyssey.
carrier. But yes, we're going to need the carriers to actually transport your entire fleet, because no one's going to win an org battle without a Kraken or a Liberator, because you need that medium fighter, that light fighter support, and snubs. So
It's one of the reasons actually that I never really had a desire to own a light fighter or a fighter that doesn't have a quantum drive. was because, well, for that exact reason that we couldn't really get around in the current game's systems. But the Kraken kind of solves that, right? What size is the Kraken? Like, as in, how big are we talking compared to like the Idris? Let's say, how big is the Kraken? Is it a big old boy?
I think
I
it's
believe
on
it's bigger.
par.
It's a big
on
boy.
par with the Idris.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's we need to get
I'm on my way.
I could have checked that because I had that question in the tank for like the last 3 minutes. I could have actually just found out and then
That's
had
right.
come with
Oh, we're
receipts.
talking
I think
about
it's
Have you seen-
I think it's thinner than the Idris.
Yes,
Like-
it's not as wide, but it's long. Have you seen the hologram that's in Cousin Crows in Orison? It's got the hologram in the corner. It is huge.
Yeah, but that's
Okay.
They're not scaled proportionally.
Yeah, there's
No,
nothing.
but you
There's
can
nothing
see-
to
but you
compare
can
it
s-
to.
You can
What
see
is this?
hanger
A
doors and
Kraken for
stuff.
ants?
But you can see the size of the hanger door, and you know the size of the hangers.
Okay.
Uh,
I mean, yeah, you do, but you're not comparing it to the size of the
So,
hanger when you're looking at it, are you?
Well,
So
I am.
the Kraken, actually no, we were wrong. The Idris is slightly wider where the engines are. The when the pads are on the Kraken, it's slightly wider than the front half of the Idris. So it's kind of in a way the same. The length though, it's longer than the Idris.
That's it compared to the Idris.
Can we see what the profile is, like front on?
That's the other one, isn't it? But
Don't forget
Oh.
that the Kraken is concept.
this is
Still.
yeah.
painful to try and nearly that. Nearly
Cloud.
Yeah, it's concept, and I'm not sure because they did update the metrics for landing pads, and I'm not sure if it was conceptualized after that metrics was complete. There was a really cool video by the guys from Australia called Info Runners, and they looked at the Endeavour and they looked at the size of what the Endeavour could be based on the new metrics of the landing pads, and the size of it, you know, if you look at the module where it has the hangar bay, that's meant to land like 2 cutlasses or something like that.
Oh wow.
And you know, obviously the landing pads for cutlasses are much larger, so then they scaled it up, and they're like, you know, it's looking like it could be javelin size, and then one of them was like it could possibly even Bengal, but whatever it is, that ship is currently $350 or pounds. That ship is definitely going up in price.
100%.
Like
Easily.
that's definitely one to look out for is the Endeavour.
Hmm.
That's a
I
beautiful
guess it's
ship.
the modules as well, right? Though, like the Endeavour comes bare
Yeah.
bones, and then you have to buy all the modules. Similar to the Galaxy. Like the Galaxy was relatively cheap when you look at the. It's not cheap if we're talking about a video game, but for Star Citizen, the Galaxy for the size of the ship was relatively cheap. And
Yeah.
then you look at that with the modules, and the modules are, I can't remember, it's like £30 each, I think, if I remember correctly, something around that range.
Yeah.
So then that obviously starts to clock up the cost because you have to, well, you want to buy 3 different modules, and I'm assuming they'll have loads more modules coming into the game. And again, modularity is something that you guys should definitely touch on at some point with regards to like the Carrack. Will it become modular? Because that was always something that they spoke about. So I don't know.
Yeah, really looking forward to the modules on the Carrack. The Carrack was the first crazy purchase that like for this game for me. Like it was
Same.
just like when that thing dropped, it was I've got so much sentimental value to my Carrack that I was like, I just want to get my original concept back because then I know that was like the being at uni, seeing that page drop and seeing like the original, I was just like, that's exactly the sort of ship that I want in this game. Like, even though it's got no pilot weapons or anything like that, I can see me and my friends exploring the system on that. So, yeah,
Same. Yeah.
right there with you on that one, man.
Yeah.
Now, it plays at 1.5 speed, but we've got what we expect
Mirai
to be
Pulse, the
Oh,
X
yeah.
ones, which
X1s,
we
which we
currently
already
have.
received.
That
Medical.
is the supposedly medical, rover.
Oh, yes.
That wasn't. That's like the cargo.
Yes.
Oh,
Now
no.
this one, pause it here. Pause it
Whoa,
here.
whoa, whoa.
Ah,
The Fat
go
Fury.
Oh,
back.
this. Oh yeah.
Now this one, people are
Zeus.
just like going, which one is that? Like, it's
So
the Zeus.
this is the Zeus racing version, isn't it? Or no, yeah, this is the Zeus racing version. I'm sure.
Nah, I think it's just
you-
a Zeus,
Are you
just a
saying that
base
because
frame.
of the
Yeah.
wingtips?
They've all got it.
Oh, it's just so beautiful.
Mm. Yeah,
Let's
I'm
continue.
very excited for the Zeus.
Then we have the Fat Fury.
That is
The
Fat Fury.
Can't wait for that.
Oh,
There
there
we
he
go.
is.
Look how fucking beautiful
You
that
hear the little
is.
cheer as well. That's
And then
this.
that is. Was that this was the one that everyone was going like, what is this one? Now, didn't they mention that? Wasn't it? Hold on,
I
no,
think
this
that's
is
the
the
Zeus.
Zeus.
No,
Yeah, because
I
it's
think
got the
that's the
single.
Zeus.
It's got the single turret underneath, which the Zeus has the single turret underneath.
So what's the
But
other
then
one?
what's the other one?
Yeah, this is the thing. The other one really threw me off.
Kitten says
Is one
this
of
is a
them the
Zeus for sure.
Arastra?
Can we
Because
go back to it?
Yeah, sure.
so
What is that?
didn't they mention that Aegis brings out something like
I feel like this is relatively uncovered. Like the ships that we know are coming. I mean, look, they didn't even bother to cover this up because we knew the X1 was coming out. The pulse
Yeah.
bike's not really been announced, so like they're pretty hidden. Legionnaire, we've been waiting on for ages, so they didn't bother covering it up.
right? I mean, most of these ships, they're just variants of ones that are already out or that we know are coming and have already been released. This ship here, though, when I was going back over it with a few other people, like we were really struggling to find out which one this is. So if there's anyone in chat that knows about it, I think we pretty the wingtips and stuff like that. They're I actually thought it was like the Spirit E1 because of the way the engines were. But
I think you're right. I think that's the Spirit. I think that's the Spirit E1, and the engines are in VTOL mode because it flips up the sides, doesn't it, with
Yeah.
the VTOL? I think
it-
that's the Spirit.
But
The
it's-
size makes sense.
Kitten disagrees. He thinks this is a mine layer.
Nautilus.
If he means the Nautilus,
No.
this is not the Nautilus.
No,
No,
the
no,
Nautilus
I
has
think-
two massive size 5
think-
cannons on the front.
I mean,
The size of the guy.
yeah.
Mm.
The size of the guy, I think it corresponds with the rest of the Spirit line.
Yeah,
So
I agree. I fully agree with that.
Well,
That's Zeus.
we'll find out when
Yeah.
they come out, eh?
Zeus looks
But
beautiful.
I mean, look at the size of the person compared to the Zeus.
I think the first one's
think
the
this is a
Zeus,
bit-
and
I think the
could it
first
be the
is a Zeus.
Arastra?
No, this is the Zeus.
No,
Definitely.
that's not the
Because
Zeus.
the ramps down at the back as well.
Because
But
the
it hasn't got
turret.
the canards. It hasn't got like the up pointy wings that the Zeus has.
That's a little bit.
It does.
No,
they're just
they're
behind
way
that.
sharper. They're
Mm,
way sharper than
But
that.
that
It's more like
the
a winglet.
Zeus has the turret underneath. It's got one turret underneath. It's not got one on the top. Which if you look at the concept art of, that's the what's it? The MR has got a turret on bottom and top. The cargo variant and the exploration variant has a turret on the what do you call it? What's the under section of
Undercarriage.
a ship? Port starboard, aft stern.
Rear.
And then like yeah. Somebody help.
I don't know.
No,
It throws me
we'll
off as
let you
well.
drown.
Drown
I
it.
just call it the
Drown
underbelly.
card.
The belly.
Belly. Nice.
They did actually mention in patch notes that a unannounced ship made it through like white box or grey box, whatever it was.
Ooh,
So there might be one that they've not mentioned at all.
could be.
They did mention that.
So we had RSI drop the Arastra at the same time that people were shouting out that supposedly there was a rumor about another Aegis ship coming out. There wasn't much information on that, but I think there was a lot of people thinking that another Aegis ship was dropping.
It's about time, right? When's the last Aegis ship?
That was the
Idris?
Aegis. Was it the Saber Raven?
But that was the last one, you think? Obviously not counting the
I'm
Idris.
trying to think. Like
I can't.
the last concept
The
Aegis
last
ship.
concept. Vanguard? When did the Vanguard come out
The
after
the Vanguard came before the Saber Raven.
Okay.
The Saber Raven wasn't strictly a proper release either, so
Hmm.
Right, should we continue with this?
Yeah, so far off a tangent from Multicrew.
oh hold on, it could have been the Redeemer maybe. I don't know.
Redeemer was
Could be
no,
actually, considering the size of the person. But
Redeemer
No,
was
that's not the Redeemer. No.
No, that's not. No, you're.
No,
Yeah, no,
I was just saying.
you're
I was
thinking of
just
the
saying.
tally.
oh, the other
You're
one.
thinking of the tally there, but no, there's another ship which is the tally,
the Retaliator variant, right?
which is further along. We ain't got to it
Oh,
yet.
yeah. Let's have a look at the Retaliator because that is actually going to
There
be
it is.
one of. Now I can't
Yeah.
remember who mentioned it, so I don't have any sources for it. But someone mentioned that this was going to be the first modular ship, like actually working modularity, so that you could outfit different modules in it: the bombing module, the dropship module, the torpedo module.
And Kitten in chat is
no,
raising a good point. It says that CIG did say that the spindles of the whole sea were the last bit of tech hurdle to finalise modularity. So we could see it soon.
Nice.
That makes sense
Thank
why
you very
this is
much,
coming
man.
out.
That's gonna bring back the Argo cargo for me. Oof. Being able to do the Argo cargo as a drop pod is gonna be beautiful.
What the hell is that beast?
Oh, I wouldn't have
my
a
God.
clue.
Oh,
It's got to be RSI, right? Just the shape of it, or it could be Anvil.
No, I reckon
sure.
it's Banu.
I think Consolidated
Really?
Outlands have like come right out of their marketing, and they've just decided to go a bit off the rails on one.
CJ's hoping it's Drake. He's like, oh, please be Drake.
No, it looks ugly. Don't want it
Wait,
to be Drake.
well, hold on. No, I do think I see a little bit of duct tape there holding one of the nacelles together, so like might be Drake.
Well, that's what it finishes on, and the
Is that
cheers
not
as
the
well.
Polaris? Was that not the Polaris at
Yes.
the end?
Yeah.
I think you were the only one that was here that didn't quite clock that straight away.
Oh right, sorry.
One of the things that I've really loved in sort of like
It definitely Banu.
science fiction lore when it comes to like combat and stuff is like in Star Wars you had the rebels and they were used to getting like modern big ships and they'd have like quite a small amount of crew compared to the Imperial ships. And that's why I think I was really attracted to the Polaris because it's got the torpedoes. Hopefully we'll be able to get NPCs to crew most of the non-essential stuff. So you and a mate could go and hit a target with some high ordnance and just get out of there. And I think that's why my top sort of combat ship is the Polaris, and I'm not going any higher than that. I say that it could change. If Anvil bring out a capital ship, I'm screwed.
I think it depends on AI crew for me. Like we all have like a nice group of people around us and orgs and friends that play the game that we can do multi-crew with. But sometimes you're just not always going to be able to, we're all adults. We all sometimes just have time, just suddenly pop up. We're like, oh, actually, we've got a spare couple of hours. I'll jump and play the game. You can't always be like, hey, who's around? So I feel like AI crew needs to be in the game before they do any type of larger ship for multi-crew stuff. I don't think it can work without having the AI crewmates in the game.
Yeah.
Like working.
Unless they use blades. That comes into it. That whole sort of like tier of like you've got blades, NPCs, players, and yeah, can't wait to see more sort of systems get automated. That's gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's just will your AI crew on your multi-crew ship, will your AI crew be able to identify a damaged component and go and replace it, or will the player always be the person that has to go and repair the components themselves because the AI just won't be able to be smart enough to do that and use a tractor beam to pull it out and put a new one in? I feel like there's too much human intervention needed for that.
Possibly. Depends sort of technologies they have for the AI. I mean, we do have quite sophisticated AI in the sense that they can react to sound and then they perform like a search sweep. So depending if the AI is connected to sort of engineering in a way, they could come check the terminal, see that there's a section of the ship that's damaged, then they get a path to that, and then they just perform a repair function on that. Whether or not the ship gets knocked and they go flying, and then they get sort of like they start trying to repair the wrong thing, that's going to be really interesting to see how intelligent that AI is. Like, why are you trying to repair my face, man? Like he's just shooting you in the face with a plasma cutter or something.
Yeah.
I can imagine one part of your ship gets vented because it takes damage, and your NPC just walks up to the door and just like opens it, and
Yeah.
then just sucks everything else out with it.
Or like
I can just imagine that happens.
you're a farmer with biodomes on an Endeavor, and you got space cows, and your NPC's like going to like try and patch something up, but then he gets knocked, and then he just like cuts a hole in the ship, and then your cows go, and it's just like gonna break my heart, man. I'm not ready for that kind of trauma.
What is this,
So you
Mr.
start to
Bean in
run them
space?
over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting how it's all implemented, especially like as you say, the vent in the atmosphere in the ships. That's something that was always planned to be in the game. I don't know if that will ever be there. Like the whole atmosphere in ship, and you can vent it if you open a door or blow a hole. It would be very interesting.
Yeah.
I think that's a very complicated bit of tech for
Yeah.
any game to simulate.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, I
they'll
don't know.
vent the atmosphere, but it won't be like the full-on sucked out, yeeted into space kind of scenario. I think it'll just
Okay.
be like, oh, you
start
got to
to
put your
choke.
helmet on now. You're gonna
Yeah.
start choking. It's gonna be
I
low
agree.
level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
It'd be interesting to see how objects react to like the vacuum. Like if there's like, I think there's, pressure is another thing. When you shoot a window, stuff gets sucked out because of the pressure difference. Like, that's what I'd like to see. It's like if someone breaches an airlock, you might find a really good bit of cover, but that cover is a crate and it gets sucked out of the airlock when that thing gets blown, and then you're there, no cover whatsoever, floating in 0G. That I think the stuff that this game's been able to achieve, it's just been amazing, especially with that server meshing demo. Oh my god, that was amazing. And I'm just really excited to see what they've got further down the line after Squadron 42 hits, what they'll focus on after that.
I've got a question for the group.
Ooh.
What part or what role within the multi-crew role are you looking forward to the most? So do you still want to focus on piloting? Are you looking forward to sort of that co-pilot where you're managing shields? Or are you looking forward to the engineering where you're going around checking components, repairing them? What part of the multi-crew gameplay loop are you looking forward to the most?
Drone operator.
Drone, the drones.
Yeah, I'm a big Nautilus fan. So if someone can fly my Nautilus, I'm just going to send out the Seeker drones. I think that I'll enjoy that the most.
That's a really great question, because I'm really stuck. I'm a big generalist, so I love all aspects of it. Right now, for some reason, I'm having like medic, like officer, like scream out at me, like running up and like checking everyone's all right, or like being in there and like researching stuff. But like, I also like to pilot. So, and I've fallen in love with sort of like the Corvette size sort of ships. So, Karak, which I know that's changed to now being a frigate, which is like, according to ISC, like they've like changed the what's it, the
Classifications.
classifications of ships again. So like it keeps changing, but like big ships like that, like the Karak and the C2, I absolutely love flying ships of those size, even with dual sticks, which is kind of weird, but yeah, it still works for me. What about you, OneDark?
It's going to be a Legionnaire pilot. At the moment, it's being a Valk pilot. It's going to be a Legionnaire pilot. Just that point where you just dock onto the side successfully. The hacking takes place. That'll probably be another crew's job to do that, and then your Marines just piling. Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to like trying to find GFA. GFA, you're here. I'm looking forward to finding Board Gamer in the verse and just boarding him just
am the
inconveniencing
captain
him. Yeah, exactly. Just
Look at me,
inconveniencing. But yeah, I mean, like with these beautiful Verpal sticks, yeah, piloting's got to be the way forward, isn't it? I've never been much use of FPS.
I think like do you see like the way the captaincy is positioned in like the whole sea and especially the Idris, like being there, talking to people, listening to what they know and what they need, and like being able to assign stuff to different people and watch the whole project, like the whole organization come together so that you're moving a ship inside a battle and you have a front row seat to that. That's going to be brilliant.
I'm not going to plug an org, but there's a group of people that use the Connies, and they do it properly. Not Connies, Carrack, sorry. And they do it properly with like, they have a captain of the ship who basically tells the pilot and everyone else what to do, like micromanages it almost. But I feel like it's someone who doesn't necessarily want to fly, someone who doesn't want to shoot guns. They just want to stand there and be a part of it. They can quite easily. And when you get into org-based battles and large fleet combat, you're going to need someone in charge of the ship that's actually focusing on the battle picture, not on the ship itself. So having that captain to say, fly this direction, guns, starboard side, shooting all the light fighters, whatever, switching targets, I think is going to be pretty cool, especially for someone who doesn't want to fly. It
Without a
could be a good
doubt.
role.
Yeah. Did anyone ever play Guns of Icarus? Old game.
No, I did not.
Okay. Some homework. It's an old game. It came out many, many moons ago. It's basically Sea of Thieves, way before Sea of Thieves was even a thing, in the sky, and you're in blimps, and it's small teams of 4, and you have turrets, and you can customize your blimp to shoot, have different weapons and stuff, and you basically fly around, and it's a PvP game, and you have to engineer, repair, put out fires, and different ships will do different things. It's really, really good. It's a lot of fun, but it's basically multi-crew at its very basic level. I've never seen a game do the multi-crew micromanaging guns, repairing the pilot, making sure they're going the right direction, altitude, as well as that game. So I'd highly recommend checking out Guns of Icarus. It must be super, super cheap now. It's an old game.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned old game. How old was that game? Because I've got another game that I could recommend for people before I go, because I need to go in just like 2 minutes. But like how old was it? Are we talking? Is Guns of
2012.
Icarus
It was the
2012?
year of the Kickstarter. Yeah,
All
2012.
right. First multi-crew game that I can think of came out 2004. Well, I think I might not be right with that because it was the Jump to Light Speed expansion that did it. But anyone here, I'm gonna shill for this game again, Star Wars Galaxies, which no longer exists, but there's like fan base servers that are keeping it running. You can actually get into like a freighter like the Millennium Falcon or like another multi-crew ship, be with your mates, go and take down other stuff, and people could be piloting, another person could be in the turret. It was incredible, especially since we're talking sort of like early 2000s, that you could do that was just incredible. And that is the game, that and Freelancer, that got me into Star Citizen so early on. Like, incredible games. Right, well, I just want to say, you guys are staying here, but I need to go. It's getting late for me, and I've got I can't stay on as much as I can for this one. But GFA, thank you so much for joining us, man. It's been a pleasure meeting you, and looking forward to this Saturday. It's going to be great. CJ and OneDark, always a pleasure with you guys. Look at that.
We have
The
2
speed he
tickets.
brought it up.
We can't even do the 7 days thing again now.
Ah.
7 days.
2 tickets remaining. Late cancellation.
And it says sold, but they're not sold because they're free. It's just the way that we use that we can
It's
keep
their
an eye
wording.
on the head count. So, if people, I've had like 5 people ask me how much are tickets. I'm like, there's no price. Just come and enjoy the company of your fellow citizens.
We should have done like an advanced package where it was like make a donation, but maybe
Mine
next
got
time.
rooftop.
Yeah, fair point actually. Yeah.
it's difficult with the rooftop because the max capacity of the rooftop was 60 people. So like, you know, you could ticket 114 people, but only, pretty much only half of them would be able to go up there and sit on the rooftop. So
At
yeah,
any one
it's
time,
just a
they
bit of
can
a knock-on
rotate
effect.
around, can't they? But
Yeah.
Eason, thank you very much for joining us, and I'll look
Thanks,
forward to
Jack.
seeing you Saturday, my friend.
Definitely. Have a good one, guys. Take care now.
Yeah.
You too.
Catch
See
you
you
later,
soon.
dude.
So in the last few minutes, then, which ships do you think will benefit the most from the multi-crew experience?
We've already said Legionnaire.
Well,
Yeah.
Definitely Legionnaire.
that's one ship that will add to the experience, yeah, for sure. But I think more organically, to be fair, is the multi-ship, multi-crew experience with the ongoing jump town and really that cohesive teamwork in shutting down those lanes. You know, I don't really play on the illegal side of things. I play on the legal side of things. It does not mean that you're not going to get your stuff taken from me. It's just that I'm gonna reword what I do to, I forget what the word is now. It takes confiscation. I will confiscate your goods and incinerate them legally, and I will earn coin from doing so. But yeah, setting up a mantis, setting up your quick reactionary forces. The end of the video is coming, so the hat has come out. Every week I have to put up with this guy. Every week. He just
You invited me.
can't.
This is your fault.
Just can't leave him alone. We need to try and confiscate that. I guarantee he's going to bring it this
Are
weekend.
you wearing that on Saturday to the Bar Citizen?
No, now you've just said the confiscate word. I think it may stay home.
Yeah, and Kitten's put C2 organically. I think he must be
Well,
mean.
to be fair, it's multi, not ship based. It's multi-crew, multi-role because people are going to be moving loot, moving cargo. It's going to have the mule loading it up. For
Lots
example,
of cargo.
like there's a lot of multi-role, a lot of multi-crew happening just in that little situation.
I think MSR. I think that's going to be
Well, yeah.
data running when that makes it into the game. I think the MSR. I mean, it's one of my favorite looking ships in the game. Obviously, I'm a massive Crusader fan, so I need to get a Crusader hat, and then we can sit here in our hats.
How do I delete comments? I've got a comment about a caterpillar being so good, even though it's a Drake ship.
The caterpillar slaps.
The caterpillar is an amazing ship.
To be fair, I'm trying to get a LTI pirate one at the moment from a friend, so if I can wrangle that from him.
Yeah.
It's funny you should mention the MSR though, GFA, because that'll bring me as a nice little segue onto another really good ship that does data running, the Drake Herald.
So does the Saber Raven,
no.
purportedly.
Yeah, but I mean, who wants to say Braven? No one.
If we have to talk about any more of these, no, but the Herald, genuinely, I do. I'm excited to see the Herald in the game. I can't imagine a scenario where I want to fly it, but it does. It looks like the caterpillar is supposed to separate, and you've got the own little sort of cockpit area that flies around. That is essentially a Herald. It's bolted onto the side of the cat. So I'd be very interested to see how that all works in the game when it comes out, especially for the multi-crew side of things. Of a caterpillar is a great multi-crew ship, and being able to load the cargo on and off, because the tractor beams are pretty poorly placed on the caterpillar at the moment. I'm hoping they move those.
I think they're placeholder for now.
Much use. Yeah.
I heard.
But yeah, that would be a very good multi-crew ship. I think there's a lot to happen on a cat, well, especially if you're being pirated and stuff, and you've got all the doors and yeah.
I think I might have missed the trick on the storefront with the caterpillar. You got like the whole A to D, and the Echo, haven't you, as well? But you've only got one size of caterpillar. But if that's a detachable module, then the caterpillar is actually only the ship portion at the back, and then you've got the extendable things. It could have been that they sold those in different sizes as well as the whole.
Could have had a medic caterpillar.
Well, you're going to have different modules for the sections.
Yep. It might get a hanger attachment. Be a pocket carrier, an actual fully fledged pocket carrier.
That would be actually really cool.
It would be.
Yeah.
It'd be a racing ship hauler.
As much as I hate to admit it, that would be a very cool Drake ship.
I think when
I'm
they get the
assuming
doors
everybody
working
watched that.
properly. Yeah.
Yes. And if you don't have to do like an entire maze to get to the pilot seat.
I may or may not have got lost multiple times on the Caterpillar. Am I going the right way? No,
Yeah.
go back the other way. End up at the front of the ship. Oh, I was going the right way to begin with. Come back. Okay, where's the stairs? Why am I back at the starting point again? Yeah. It's not even that big of a ship.
I pirated in an old life. Don't do that anymore. I pirated a Caterpillar before, and I kid you not, it took me like 20 minutes to find the pilot seat where they were. By that point, they had already reboarded the Caterpillar, so then I had to hide in the engine room, wherever it is.
Mm.
So yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I always
Yeah.
find myself getting. They say humans go around in circles if they're lost. Naturally, if you don't know where you're going, you end up walking in circles. I feel like I do that on the cat because I always end up in the mess hall. I'm always in the kitchen, and it really annoys me because I'm like, oh, this is it, and I walk through and there's just the table, some food, like a cruise bottle. I'm like, well, okay, how have I got back here again?
The game's so realistic; it knows what I want.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Well, probably time to call it a close there. I'm really looking forward to some of the experiences that we're going to have. More importantly, I'm really looking forward to Bar Citizen this Saturday. 2 tickets remaining. We're all going to be there. It's going to be amazing. We've got 50 plus devs now coming.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, wow,
Jeez.
indeed. So prepare your
Why
questions.
are they not working on Squadron?
Well, it's a Saturday.
Get them back in there.
It's just a Saturday. So, yeah.
That's 50. I did not realize. That's crazy. That'd be really cool to get to talk to so many people that have worked on the project. I want to find someone that worked on or has been part of the next great starship, and then I want to have a few too many beers and talk off theory about how we can convince Chris Roberts to run another next great starship competition, because that might have been one of the best bits of media for that game. I used to sit there every week and sit down and go, oh, I can't wait for the next episode, because it was all these quote unquote amateur, but not really amateur, obviously they're professionals, but all these different groups of people from around the world that were graphic designers, 3D modelers, animators, making their own ships. And obviously that's how the Redeemer came to be. That was a crowd created ship from a private group of people that came in on this competition. I want to see that again because that was so much fun. It was like Scrap Heap Challenge. So yeah, I hope we can see more competitions like that, because I think it really brings the community together. Like everyone's voting and talking. Yeah, that's a bit of personal opinion on what I would like to talk about on Saturday.
Yeah, sure. So whilst we're on about like made by the community ships and how the Retaliator came to be, have you guys ever seen the video for the Aegis Inquisitor?
I think you sent this to me, and it looks incredible.
Yeah, maybe about 6 months ago. Let's just have a quick butchers at it now. I don't believe there's any sound for this going on. Well, yeah, it's Aegis, isn't it? So I just think the artist of this nailed it, and have spoke to him as well. He hasn't been able to get in touch with like the CIG, but intelligence capabilities. So you've got scanning, radars, 2 remote turrets. He's done such a good job with this.
Yeah.
Like cryopods. That looks menacing. Imagine having that with LTI.
It's a Saber Vanguard love child.
I tell you what the front looks like. I tell you what the front looks like. I guarantee this is where he got the idea from. Have you ever seen Robot Wars? Sir Kills a lot, or whatever it's called. The main killing robot. Get a picture of that up. The face, the front of the ship looks like Sir Kill-A-Lot from Robot Wars. I'm telling you, it's almost identical.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that one.
Oh gosh.
That was
People in the
that was
States could be like,
a-
hang on, you can get a model of it on eBay.
But doesn't the front look like the front of that ship?
yeah. I can see it. I can see
Yeah,
it.
I can see that as well. Brilliant. Brilliant. Yeah, I'd love to see a ship like that. And that's Multicrew as well. But
Yeah.
I mean, let's just say we know that Mr. CR attends some of these bar citizens. He lives in Manchester. I'd love to meet the guy. I think that he's the only person who would understand the breadth and depth of my vision with Star Citizen in esports. That's for another video, but I'd love to meet the guy. But what would you ask him? What would you ask him if you had him in front of you now?
I'd probably ask him, is he happy with the way the project's going? Is it meeting his vision? That'd probably be one of the first things I ask him. And then I probably wouldn't ask him anything else about Star Citizen. I'd probably just talk to him about other random stuff. I feel like he's such a personable person. I feel like he kind of wears his heart on his sleeve. He says everything that he needs to say. I'd like to get his opinion on the project at the moment, and is it going the way he first envisioned? Outside of that, what's his favorite beer? Does he like playing golf? You know, these kind of questions. These are the questions I would ask. I'm wasted. I'm a wasted person to put in front of Chris Roberts. I wouldn't ask any good questions. What would be your question to him?
CJ?
I think I would ask him, when is the Drake Mule going to get his front forklift attachment working? I think that's going to be the most prevalent thing.
That's probably not even in the forefront of his mind.
No, but if it's in his mind, then it's coming.
How many people are actually going to use that if it came out tomorrow? How many people you see
I
pull
will
out their
roleplay.
mules?
I will roleplay the mule.
I think it's going to be super useful when we see the distribution centres coming.
Or the other main question I'll ask him, and Pretendosaur just kind of reminded me, not about golf, but are we going to see strip clubs? And more importantly, am I going to see a Vandal strip club?
What was this question?
Asking for a friend.
Okay.
You'll not see CJ in the next episode of.
Yeah, I'll be replacing CJ going forward indefinitely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking the questions people want.
I think the real question is, what age rating is Star Citizen going to end up being when it's finished? Because it's quite an important topic. Star Citizen being a crowdfunding project and a Kickstarter project, a lot of it has been pushed by content creators, sort of love it or hate it. The best media has been through the content creators and the streamers over the past 12 years. I mean, I heard about it from, if anyone remembers, Frankie on PC, who doesn't really do YouTube anymore, but used to do DayZ videos, and he once made a Star Citizen video, and I was like, oh my god! And that's how I found out about the project. I think, I can't remember what my point was. I've completely lost track of what I was saying. I think it made sense.
It's that sort of time. It's actually midnight here.
I want to add a very quick thing. Have we just seen the Evocati patch notes?
No, is that why someone mentioned Evocati?
No. However, do you want to hear the Evocati patch notes in brief?
Go on then. Hit me up.
Yeah.
Stanton plus Pyro static server meshing.
Oh.
Do not use the jump gates, it says. However, you can select Stanton or Pyro in the menu when you join the game. So they're running simultaneously 1 PU, both star systems.
1 PU.
Yes. So they're running it says 2 times DGS, so I assume that's something server. But they're running Stanton and Pyro in the same universe at the same time. You just can't access both physically fly there.
So you've got to choose which one you want to be in.
But they're on the same load. So it's T0 server mission live. Well, not live, Evocati.
I did see a screenshot of Salty Mike, but you never know what to believe with these big streamers. They just put anything to get you the clicks. So yeah, don't really trust it. But yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool.
That's from them. So
and
if
by
you
the
want
time it
clicks,
comes out of
put
Viva
this in the
Kai, it
top.
might even be that you can traverse using the jump gates. It might just be there's a couple of minor things they need to implement.
Maybe
Oh,
a
yeah,
loading screen.
I can't imagine it would be pushed to live without the jump gates working, or even the PTU. I don't think they'll go any further than Evo without the jump gates working. I think there's no point, because no one's going to back out of the server to then join Pyro and etc. It's just seems kind of pointless. But it's really cool. It's a cool step forward. I'm looking forward to Pyro. I think Pyro was, from the testing that I did, was super, super fun. I don't know if it was because it was a test or just because it was Pyro, but I found that it was very much so every person for themselves. And I had people just ramming me and just flying into me and not caring about their own life as much as killing me. And I'm hoping that was just because it was a test and it didn't matter. But yeah, very, very clear that everyone just wants to go to Pyro to murder each other. And I'm kind of there for it. I'm happy with that, because then Stanton hopefully becomes a bit of a safer place. But
with Death of a Spaceman, that's probably not going to be a thing as much.
No, I can't imagine. I think that would be the last thing that will come to the game. The very last thing will be Death of Starman or Death of a Spaceman, whatever it was called. I just can't imagine it coming any sooner until it has to be bug free, right? You can't have your entire character essentially reset to an extent. I know it's not quite a reset, but you can't have that and then get killed and your hanger taken off because of a bug. So yeah, it has to be the very last thing they add, in my opinion.
Yeah. Sounds good. Sounds very good. So, let's wrap it up here. But before we go, GFA, where can everyone get in touch with you?
Well, first of all, let me thank you ever so much for having me on. It was an absolute blast. I really enjoyed it, and there's some good conversation. It was nice to meet everyone. Where you can find me: YouTube, GFA Plays, Twitter, GFA Plays, Instagram, GFA Plays, TikTok, GFA Plays, and yeah, basically any social media GFA Plays, you'll find me. And yeah, but YouTube is my main thing. That's where you find the good content.
It sure is. Right, thank you very much, and we'll see you in the verse.
In the verse.